Parents, what is your kid doing or wearing that you hope is just a phase? Story 1. I guess it's more like his attitude, but he's really materialistic and status conscious, as much as a 6-year-old can be. He's always comparing his stuff to other people's stuff. I don't really understand where he gets it from, because I'm not like that at all. On one hand, it's cool if he's willing to work for the nice things he wants. On the other hand, it's not cool if he's just so obsessed that it's taking over parts of his brain, you know? He only wants to play sports that have the most gear, because he likes the gear, not necessarily the sport. He has to have the nicest shoes. If his friends have some cool thing, he must also have that cool thing. He's the one who leaves the toy store saying, "That's really cool you got me those things, but why didn't you get me this too?" Yes, I've tried putting everything back and leaving the toy store. This just seems to be the way he is right now. He also thinks he's an expert after spending 2 minutes learning about something. That is really infuriating. No, you're not an expert on sharks because you read all of a kid's book on sharks. He also likes to be the best. No, you're not good enough to be in the NHL. You are 6. Yeah, okay, you're a good skater now, but guess what? If you just sit there congratulating yourself instead of practicing, all those guys in your Little League team will just blow by you the next year. I mean, I don't say this to him. I just tell him to keep practicing. I don't know. Sounds like the little man is going to have some pretty hard life lessons coming his way if he doesn't grow out of that phase soon. Which isn't necessarily a bad thing. Sometimes it just has to happen. So they can grow as a person and realize cool and new stuff isn't always the thing you need, and to appreciate what you have and work hard to get better than you already are. Story 2. Currently, my son, 15, keeps spending hours in the woods near my house. I don't want to hinder his individuality, but I use the parent control on his phone to track where he goes. I found this treehouse. I don't know if he built it or found it. And when I climbed up, I saw magazine papers covering the wall, yarn pinned to them with Polaroids tagged everywhere. The weirdest part? They were all pictures of birds, with bird feathers in the yarn. And on the floor in the corner, there was what turned out to be a jumpsuit covered with various types of feathers. I don't know why he hasn't felt comfortable talking about this. He knows I love him, and I think I know what this is about. I will accept him whether or not he's realized he's actually a choir on the inside, provided he doesn't want me to feed him like a mama bird. Update. Thought to check his room today after remembering this. He has a drawer full of little bones. The thing I want to be a phase is the killing. The rest is whatever. I can buy him feathers and help him staple them on. At first I thought he was doing drugs in the woods. Then I thought he was a stalker. Then I was like, oh okay, it's just bird watching. That's an okay hobby. Then I was like, WTF. Story 3. My 5-year-old is hitting that kindergarten phase where he's stretching his wings, experimenting with independence and seeing exactly how far he can push his parents before something really bad happens. He'll sneer or glare at you when you tell him not to do something bad. But once you get in his face and tell him in no uncertain terms exactly what will happen to him if he keeps it up, he starts crying. Can't have it both ways, bud. If you're old enough to run around out into the street by yourself and laugh the first time I yell at you about it, you're too old to get out of a punishment by crying like a baby. His sister went through this phase too, and she got over it. Now she's the sweetest, most empathetic, most respectful little thing you could ever dream of raising. I'm sure he'll get there too. You're probably experienced by now, but I know of parents that don't want their children every time a tear is shed. Just let the kid cry sometimes, or else you'll end up with a little butthole. Story 4. Piercings. He's 18, and he's got snake bites, ear gauges, and a pierced septum that he puts this god-awful big ring into. Jesus. I really hope I'm wrong, but I feel like this kid's never gonna get a decent job looking like that. From experience, personal, and friends, the ear gauges may be the only lingering part of this. I had multiple piercings all over my body, some visible and some not, in my early 20s. And by my mid-20s, when I started getting serious about jobs, I thought, these really need to come out, and no one can even tell I had any of them. Story 5. Not a parent, but my nephew pretty much lives with us, so close enough. He's 5 and is right in the midst of his picky eating stage. It's so annoying because we'll be eating one thing and he'll insist on eating something else. And he's hardcore, so he'd literally starve himself rather than eat what we're eating, so we usually give in. But sometimes we're eating a food he likes, but because he doesn't want that food that day, he'll try to claim he doesn't like it. I don't like pizza though, we ate pizza yesterday. Yeah, but I was just pretending because I don't like pizza, I like pasta. He's a great kid, polite and kind, but sometimes I kinda want to kick him a few miles because he's getting on my nerves. I know he's young, but what kind of psycho says no to pizza 2 days in a row? Story 6. My teenage son is going through the I don't have to shower every day, even after rugby practice phase. I've tried to tell him he stinks, but for some reason he thinks I'm crazy. Hope this ends soon. Start hoarding all his filthy laundry, especially his rugby clothes. And when you have a sizable amount and he's at school, dump it all into his bed and shut the room to let the stink permeate every surface. Then when he asks why you did such a thing and his room stinks, tell him that's how he smells when he won't shower. That is so diabolical. I love it. And when I have kids, I might have to try this out if they ever go through that phase. I really hope they don't. I can get like not washing your hair every day or something, but come on, you can't just not shower, especially after a sport like rugby. Story 7. My 9-year-old son really likes sleeveless shirts. My grandma bought him a bunch. He chooses his daily outfit, which is a sleeveless shirt with shorts every day. All of the shorts he owns are plaid. It's like he's all preppy on the bottom and hillbilly on top. I don't care too much because who really gives a care what their kid wears? As long as 1, it's appropriate for the event, and 2, is clean. It's embarrassing to go out in public with him, but frick it, he's happy. Showing off the guns. Chicks dig biceps, bruh. Story 8. My 9-year-old daughter dresses in as much black as she can get her hands on, and is flattered when people compare her to Wednesday Addams. She is also very into some YouTube that I really don't get. Like Miranda sings and endless videos of people putting together outfits for different occasions, which wouldn't be that weird if she didn't try to insist on spending 80% of her life in the same shapeless black schmata. I was your daughter. I'm 35 and still wear mostly black. For some of us, it's just a phase. For others, it's how we know we look great. I'm sure she'll grow somewhat out of that when she's older, although she'll probably still wear mostly black, but that's alright. The biggest indicator is that she likes to watch YouTubers putting together other outfits. She probably wants to branch out, but just isn't sure how she'll look. Story 9. Not a parent, but my little brother has been playing a lot of computer games. And instead of like using normal hand configuration, ring finger on A, middle on W and S, and index on D like a normal person, he uses his index for all 4 keys. It drives me crazy. What the frick? Out of all the posts here, this worries me the most. Story 10. Lying, but in a really incompetent way. She's nearly 3 and has started trying to get out of doing stuff by making the worst outrageous and clearly untrue statements. Like, you can't brush my hair, I haven't got a head, and I can't put my shoes on, I'm a box, and boxes don't have feet, etc. I try not to just laugh in her face, but it's difficult. Laugh at her and tell her she's not a box, she's clearly a bag. Story 11. He won't shave his beard. He's 17 and it's very thin and long. Reminds me of the first time I saw my own armpit hair when I was in middle school. I'm getting married next week. I asked him to shave and he said, "But mom, it'll take me like 2 years to grow back." So we compromised that he would at least trim it shorter. Just tell him that the more he cuts it, the quicker and thicker it'll grow back after. I'm pretty sure most people believe that anyway. Story 12. So my 4-year-old is obsessed with Minecraft. I enjoy it quite a lot also, but I'm really only playing it because he wants to watch. But he keeps wanting me to do really creepy things. Like the latest thing he wants me to do is build tracks and collect all the villagers into a place and build a machine to kill them. I know they aren't real people or anything. But no, I'm not gonna build concentration camps. I was playing Minecraft with my 4-year-old. As I was busy chopping down trees and building the house, he was knocking pigs into a ravine and watching them die. I'd like to say he's just a kid that doesn't know any better and he probably will grow out of it. But as someone that plays video games, I'm not proud to say I still do some weird, unethical stuff in them to this day. I'd probably be considered a war criminal to most. Story 13. Pull-ups at night. He's gonna be 7, and although most mornings that pull-up is relatively dry, I am really looking forward to never buying another dang diaper or pull-up again. I read this as the exercise, and I was like, man, I wish I got into exercising that young. And then I finished the comment and got really confused before figuring it out. Story 14. I have a 14-year-old who is obsessed with socks. He spent like $19 on a single pair of socks. They have to be those Nike Elite gold-plated something. I hope he grows out of this fast. I started wearing fancy merino wool socks, usually Smart Wool, but some other brands too. And they are just so much better than regular socks, it's amazing. Your son is onto something. Upgrade your socks, upgrade your life. Some sock company better write that down and use it in their next marketing campaign. Story 15. My 5-year-old is 100% bathroom independent. He just forgets to wipe half the time. He also has a habit of waiting until the last possible minute he can hold his pee. This means he either A, unleashes the beast and lets fly, or B, has trouble with his belt and wets himself. Sure, it's kind of fun predicting when the cross-house potty sprint is going to occur, but it cannot be healthy. So, not 100% toilet independent, since the bathroom routine includes wiping. Story 16. My 3-year-old has just discovered his wiener can not only pee in the potty, but if properly aligned can form a fine arc of urine that will land on anything he aims it at, which at the moment tends to be the cat. Yes, my toddler is currently peeing onto the cat, which then runs all over the place, getting his pee everywhere. Thank you, toddler. Your girlfriends of the future will be hearing all about this. I wish I'd been into cool stuff like that. Story 17. My 12-year-old has been obsessed with yo-yos for a while now. I was afraid he was going to get picked on school because of it. Turns out he's gotten a bunch of the other kids interested in them. Turns out they're starting a yo-yo club to teach each other yo-yo tricks. One of their APS is going to help with that part, and the engineering teacher is going to help them design and make yo-yos on the new 3D printers. That's the opposite of a problem. Story 18. Frozen. She has this one dress that she wears. It gets washed, she wears it again. Lather, rinse, repeat. We watch the dang movie most days. She's onto her second copy. She has a cape that goes over her regular clothes on the days her dress is being washed, and can repeat the entire script. I'm over Frozen. Honestly, I don't understand the hysteria with Frozen. Out of every Disney film ever, young kids are obsessed with Frozen. Gotta be something in there, some subliminal messages from Olaf or something. Probably just a phase though. I was, and somewhat still am, the same way with Star Wars. Story 19. My 7-year-old saw a ceiling fan installation video on YouTube. He is now obsessed with ceiling fans. He's gonna ask Santa Claus for 4 new ceiling fans for Christmas. There must be something about ceiling fans. I work with kids with autism and it's incredible how many of them love ceiling fans. With some of the older ones, the fans seem to arouse them. I guess you could say they're fans of them. I'll see myself out. Story 20. My 12-year-old is obsessed with Five Nights at Freddy's. It wouldn't be so bad if every electronic device he got his hands on didn't get a profile or something named after some weird animatronic character. He made 4 separate user accounts on the netbook that we let him use to play Minecraft. Name them all after FNAF characters. Might want to keep him away from the new movie coming out, or that situation might get a lot worse. Also, keep him away from MatPat for the same reason. Story 21. My 3-year-old likes to pull his dong out of his pull-up and yell, "Look at my dingle!" I hope this stops before I send him to daycare. The flashing might stop, but fascination doesn't. I'm currently working at daycare and I've got 19 preschoolers. Not a day goes by that you don't say, "Please don't play with your penis in the classroom." Story 22. My son is 13. He recently started insisting on tucking his pants, usually sweatpants, into his socks and pulling up his socks, and then wearing sandals. I told him he looks like a pirate with 2 wooden legs. He's a tall, thin stick of a boy. So far, no one else has mentioned it to him, so he thinks I'm just being silly. Get pictures while you can so he can look back and laugh with you later. Story 23. My 10 and 13-year-olds are at Hot Topic all the time. As a legit punk kid back in the 80s, this seems wrong to me. My tights were shredded because I was too poor to get new ones. It was just a bonus that they looked cool. Hot Topic has some cool things, but I feel like it should be utilized to enhance the look, not to just be a head-to-toe walk-in marketing ad for their stuff. Story 24. Obnoxious YouTube videos. My Little Pony, Shopkins, Minecraft. I don't know how these people get so popular because their voices are downright painful. I truly wonder if Cookie Swirl C keeps friends with her fakey little girl voice. She has to be in her early 20s. I want an interview where she's asked, "What do people say when they find out your YouTube is all about you playing with kids' toys?" I've said it before and I'll say it again. If parents just stop letting their kids watch those awful channels, they won't be around any longer. Story 25. My 5-year-old son is obsessed with Bowser from Mario Brothers. He talks about him all the time, and it's getting old. I wonder what the other kids in his kindergarten class think. Or maybe they obsess about similar things too. Okay, but you can't deny that Bowser's awesome. Story 26. My daughter is obsessed with death. She is 9 and will ask hypothetical questions such as, if this ferry sank, how many people would die? Or are there sharks in these waters? How many people have been eaten? She seems to have toned it down a bit in the last few months. Yeah, that one is a bit concerning, I'm not gonna lie. Story 27. Crying. Just crying, screaming for hours and hours and hours. To the point where I consider taking him to be seen by a doctor. Then just as I'm about to arrange it, he stops. Then does it again. He's only 5 days old, but I'm really feeling the pressure and stress. You know, I think that comes with a baby for quite a while after you bring it home. Sadly, I don't believe there's any return policy on them. Story 28. I love all the parents complaining about Minecraft and admitting they play it. Makes me think of that old drunk PSA where the kid is like, "I learned it from you." Story 29. Minecraft is seriously a never-ending black hole once you start delving into the modded community. Story 30. Crocs. Freaking Crocs. My 8-year-old had a hand-me-down pair. 4-year-old was dying for a pair like her big sis. Then 2-year-olds wanted some too. Next thing I know, my dang husband will want a pair. And divorce is just so expensive. Hoping the Crocs phase goes away soon. The real question is, why are you trying to prohibit their trip? Story 31. Growling loudly. He's 2.5. Just flew to Orlando from the UK. Funny for the first hour, not so much for the next 8 or so. Could be worse, my 2.5-year-old son has been imitating fire truck and police sirens. Kill me. Story 32. So my 12-year-old son keeps saying that he's a bean boy. At first I thought it was just a stupid game, but I checked his internet history and it is 85% bean related. I hope it's just a phase. What? Story 33. My teenage daughter claims that her family is a communist dictatorship, and she has no rights. I sighed. I told her it's more like a fascist dictatorship, or maybe even a monarchy. Story 34. Minecraft and KSP. Granted, I played the heck out of some KSP, but I had to buy his own laptop and get it for him because he was freaking up Daddy's missions. Story 35. My 6-year-old thinks he's Bruce Lee, and my 9-year-old thinks he's Paul Phoenix. Roughhousing is good, but dang it, they tag team me while I'm asleep. All I hear is, "What?" and I'm out cold again. Story 36. Not a parent, but as a kid I used to have a Hercules phase. After binge watching the Disney movie, used to take my arm out of my shirt like a toga and walk around with a sword, insisting to be called Hercules. I miss my toga. Reminds me of how I take a blanket or towel and wrap it around my neck like a cape whenever I used to watch anything related to Batman. Story 37. My 13-year-old daughter judges the frick out of everyone who is the least bit different from her, and is incredibly annoyed by almost everyone and everything. I'm hoping she will quickly learn to stop giving a crap. Story 38. Not a parent, but my 14-year-old brother wore shorts to school the last 2 days, with temperatures between 0 to 10 degrees Celsius. Pretty sure every 8th to 9th grader does that. Story 39. She likes to drop her pants, shake her butt at me and sing, "Botswana, Botswana." She's nearly 6. At least she only does it at home, as far as you know. Story 40. My kid is about to be 3. For the last 4 months or more, he has been using the toilet absolutely fine. Now he shoots in the garden. He likes the moon to see bum plums. His words, not mine. Sure, but when I do it, I'm arrested for indecent exposure. Story 41. When my daughter gets upset / annoyed / overwhelmed / overtired, she turns her head to the right and spits on the floor, like a continuous 6-inch long saliva snail. Story 42. Roblox on my gaming PC. He's 11 and always goes back to Roblox. I don't get it. I have a huge Steam library, but I can't get him to play anything else. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe for more videos to come, or else this spider will be in your bed tonight.